they're the closest ally in the Middle East because they're the only country in the entire Middle East that anyone in this country, these fucking hypocrites, would even survive for a week in. You wouldn't want to live.
Andrew Schulz and Bill Maher engaged in a heated argument on a number of topics when Maher invited him to appear on his podcast, the Club Random Podcast. Additionally, Bill Maher became really agitated. It got rather hot, as I mentioned. It got terrible. Even though I'm not the biggest fan, I don't think Bill Maher is correct about a lot of things he says, so I think that's why he got so upset and angry and started yelling at Andrew Schulz. Let's watch this video, in which Bill Maher goes completely crazy about Andrew Schulz when he invites him to appear on his show, the Club Random Show.
And way always on the left. I mean, you said woke. I don't want to talk about woke. I'm always fucking with the woke. The woke hate me more than anybody for good reason. Because when I stick the knife into them when they deserve it, it goes right to the bone, which it should, because they don't believe in it either. So here's a case where, yes, emotionally, because I'm a supporter of Israel, I would like to see this guy out of the country. No, you can't just throw people out because you don't like their speech.
Especially if you give them or you grant them some form of, I don't know if he had a citizenship, maybe a visa or something like that, but you're essentially giving this
green card.
He has a green card. So if he has a green card, you're giving them the opportunities to be an American, exist as an American for this amount of years.
But if you have the green card, you do have the same rights as an American citizen.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Okay.
So we have to give that person those rights.
You have to.
As annoying as that is.
As annoying as it is.
You probably should have looked into his resume before you gave him the green card.
Because that's always what, and it's very hard to, I would say not more than 20% of the people in this country can you get on that opinion. Everybody else is just always going to go right to defending the speech of the people they like.
Yes, this is what we constantly do. We're hypocrites, but like
such hypocrites.
But this is the thing, we have to like this is where it gets frustrating, these arguments, is like if we know we're hypocrites, we can't cry about it. We have to meet people where they are.
Correct.
Right? So like I mean, I'm sure you've seen on Twitter, like everybody's talking about, Israel, and like it seems like there's waning support in America for Israel.
Oh, absolutely.
So here's an example, which you hear people say all the time. Like obviously the politicians have no clue how to communicate, most of them, and they're just like, well, this is our closest ally, and then you get asked why, and they go, oh, they don't know, because they're just being told that they're the closest ally.
Well, closest ally in the Middle East.
Regardless of what it is. It's like, I think
that's very important. They're the closest ally in the Middle East because they're the only country in the entire Middle East that anyone in this country, these fucking hypocrites, would even survive for a week in. You wouldn't want to live.
I'm not even sure how accurate that is. For some parts of the Middle East, maybe. But it's hard to talk about this honestly. You can't really criticize Ben Shapiro's favorite country without backlash. They're called our closest ally. But let's be real. It often feels like they have the US government in a chokehold. A lot of that comes down to money. And lobbying. AIPAC is real, and it has serious influence. Politicians seem scared to speak freely, and so are we. It's frustrating and unfortunate, but it's the reality. Let's see what Andrew Schulz and Bill Maher have to say on this, because they definitely didn't hold back.
I've been to Abu Dhabi.
The UAE is not the Muslim world. If you're talking about
But they're
Dubai,
in the Middle East. That's what you're talking about.
Okay, but you're talking about a tiny, tiny percentage of what typical life is like in 60 Muslim countries. You're talking about a little enclave that they carved out so Westerners could come and spend their money.
Right.
We're talking about far less than 1% of the way life is like. You would not want to live even in a moderate country like Jordan, and your wife certainly wouldn't enjoy living there.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're making logical points.
Well, these are factual points.
Yeah, sure, they're factual.
They are.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's like, I gave you another option that is true.
Well, but it's
I think, matter of fact, I would even argue that life is more relatable to the average American in the UAE or in Dubai than it is in...
Again, but it's a disingenuous argument.
Why is it disingenuous?
Because I just told you.
You said you can't live there, and I was like, here's another place.
Because it's not typical. I said the entire Middle East. So if I... Okay, so look, here...
Okay.
Here's the thing. Here,
all right.
If I say, you have to move somewhere in America, and I'm going to throw a dart at a map with a blindfold on, and Could you survive anywhere else in America where you absolutely could? You could live in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
You could live anywhere in America.
Yeah.
If I throw a dart at a map of the entire, all 60 Muslim majority countries, will you say you'll live there?
I could survive in every single one of them.
You couldn't.
How no?
What?
How could I not? I'm not a gay guy. I could live in any single one of them.
You're in Kabul. Your wife would have to wear a head-to-toe burqa every.
That's on her.
Okay.
I think people have been heavily brainwashed by Western propaganda, especially when it comes to how they view the Muslim world. Saying, you couldn't live in a Muslim country is part of that narrative. Bill Maher seems to have bought into this idea, claiming that a straight man couldn't exist there, which just isn't true. As Andrew Schulz pointed out, sure, if you're openly gay or your wife doesn't wear a burqa in certain areas, you might run into issues. But for a regular person just living their life, you're not going to just drop dead by being there. It's not that extreme. Bill even went as far as saying Andrew Schulz couldn't survive in the Middle East if he was in a school full of mainstream media influence. That's kind of wild. Let me know what you think in the comments. Has Maher taken it too far? Or is there some truth in what he's saying?
Again, let's not move the goalposts. You're asking if I could live comfortably.
You could live with yourself knowing that that's how women are treated in your world.
I hate this moral argument. Like, we give a fuck about women around the world. Like, I know, but this is like...
Yeah, you said you'd be happy.
This is such a bullshit argument.
This is such a bullshit argument.
No, I didn't say happy. I said I could live. You keep moving the goalposts.
Okay, good. I'm sorry.
Let's stay on what you say. I could live easily in every single one of the countries outside of the wars that are existing. But you're saying in peacetime?
Easily?
Easily. You live easily.
You could easily live in Kabul, Afghanistan.
Is there a war happening? Is the Taliban doing their thing?
No war. No war.
So
war's over.
War's over? I could kick it in. I could kick it in Kabul for a month, easy. Enjoying life. Now, am I doing stand-up every night? No. But could I take a little vacation?
I don't know if you're kidding with me.
I'm just telling you, it's. I think
I'll give you two options. Either you're kidding or this is stupid.
Well, that's this pretentious ass shit.
It's not pretentious.
You're doing the thing that
it's not pretentious.
You are doing the
that
thing.
You could live in Kabul and be happy or get by.
That's not the same. Residency in... I doubt I would be content in that setting. And share your thoughts with me in the comments. I don't believe Andrew Schulz would be content to live there either. But it is a whole different argument than saying you couldn't live there or in a Middle Eastern nation. You could indeed. You know, you'll be okay as long as you don't do anything repulsive. You could definitely live there, but I wouldn't want to. That's quite different then. I'm also interested to see what you guys have to say about this in the comments.
No big deal.
You're doing this thing that gets...
It's not virtue signaling to say...
I didn't say virtue signaling, but that is, if you don't agree with me, you're dumb, is why Trump is elected. And this is what Democrats do.
Yeah, but sometimes dumb is dumb.
Yeah, but people are dumb. So deal with that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stop acting like everybody's smart. Like, this is the problem, is like, you have all these people that go to Ivy League schools and they're like, we know better than everybody else and we'll just tell you what to do and you guys are all stupid and I know you feel like you want this, but you don't really want this. And if you disagree with me, you're an idiot. Then all of a sudden they go, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm voting for that one. And it's very simple.
Yeah, that's true too.
So we can't speak down to people if we know that they're going to react emotionally. I guess what I'm trying to say is, even with the like, for example, the Israel conversation, right? So if I know people are reacting emotionally to this, right? Who is the burden on, if we have this deep connection with Israel, which I believe we do, right? I think the burden is on Israel to prove to the American people, who definitely they rely on for support in this conflict. I think that the burden is on them to communicate to the American people why it's advantageous to America to continue to support them. Like, and if they can't communicate a reason, you can't be upset at the American people for being confused about it. We have that same energy towards Ukraine. We go, wait a minute, they're getting how many $1 billion? Okay, over here, if eggs were cheap, I don't care about where you throw the money. But once eggs get expensive, I start going, where's the money going? $200 million going over there? So when economic times are very difficult here in America, or any country in the world, there's going to be some questions asked about where this money is going.
As there should be.
As they should be. I think it's a very normal thing. And unfortunately for Jews, when economic times turn shitty in countries, people start looking and they go, I think it might be their fault.
We're sending a lot of money overseas with barely any justification. And we have to be careful even talking about it, which is crazy. But that's the world we live in. They've got us in a chokehold. Bill Maher and Andrew Schulz both agree the U.S. is going through tough financial times, and things have gotten worse under President Joe Biden. What really hits people emotionally is seeing graphic images on Twitter X, innocent babies being killed, indiscriminate bombings, and a lot of innocent bloodshed, all linked to the side we're funding. It's not just that our tax dollars are going overseas, they're contributing to the loss of innocent lives in the Middle East. That's where the outrage comes from. In their debate, Bill Maher clearly lost his cool and came off irrational, while Schulz brought up some valid concerns. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments, especially about who made the stronger argument. I know a lot of you will probably disagree with me, but that's what makes this interesting. Let me know in the comments. You guys think about this whole Bill Maher versus Andrew Schulz situation.